Ladies and gentlemen, her.
Let's talk about fashion in K-pop culture and how they seem like they've been stuck in a time machine. So I was curious as to the subject. I've been a K-pop fan for a while, and I feel like at this point I've seen all of it and it's now just the same, doing over and over again. And nobody wants to talk to me about it.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
So let's talk about it. But let's start with a little bit of history, right? If you don't know what K-pop is, it is Korean pop, obviously. Back in the 1950s and then 1953, due to being not only in Korean War that separated North and South Korea, but also getting stuck in the Cold War, economy sucked. Thus, the music industry wasn't that pop like nor others. You had your traditional sounds and Japanese influence trot. The start of the 1990s where we started seeing different genres inspired from the Western world like hip-hop, R&B, soul, gospel, and rock starting to emerge from the underground scene. But it was first in 1992, boom, when Seo Tension and the Boys debuted. They will not be called a K-pop group, but they still were technically a K-pop group. They just didn't have the idol training that we see today. Being controversial for their loose-fitting clothes and coining the snowboarder look, as they called it, they won award after award, blowing their competition away. They just were getting that back. People were shocked, and they did it so well. They danced around a lot. They rapped while singing, while also keeping some of those traditional sounds that the Korean public was so used to. They got a huge fan base, like idol fan base that we hadn't really seen before in the South Korean culture. So this was kind of new. This was all new. Most recognized songs they made, I think you've heard before, is Come Back Home. Also, if you think somebody in Seo Tenjin looks really familiar, he should if you're a Blackpink stan, because he would later create his own label in 1996 after he had disbanded with the other members of Seo Tension and the Boys and create the label Hyun Label, now known as YG Entertainment. Snowboarder style was something that was very prominent, again, because of Seo Tension and the Boys, and it was a style we saw a lot in these first years of K-pop. We also saw it with PH1 and Kim Sung-jae, with the most popular song being As I Told You. Both Come Back Home and As I Told You has been covered by Stray Kids, ATEEZ, BTS. I actually think it's a really fun concept because it's different. I feel like it's more different than what we see nowadays, and it's fun. It's like kind of ridiculous with those huge goggles and the big gloves and very, very big pants, but I think it's kind of fun. The first real K-pop group we saw with idol training was H.O.T., which was under SM Entertainment, who debuted in 1996 with their debut track Descendants of Warriors. Already here we can kind of see the signature style that we'll see again almost 3 decades later. Loose clothes and a dark bad boy vibe. And it had been used kind of a lot, but again, it was still very, very new at the time and very controversial.
Do you or do you not feel bonita?
I feel bonita.
Wonderful, because you look bonita.
Today it seems really common though, and it seems not that interesting, but at the time it was a huge deal. It's not like The Simpsons did it scenario.
Oh, it'll be just like on The Simpsons.
It's more of a if everybody is super.
No one will be.
I've been a K-pop spectator for a while, like I have, and kind of a fan. I think most of us can agree that how a group starts isn't usually how they end up being or what they necessarily are now or in their later comebacks even. Usually you have to try a lot of concepts for a group to find one that fit the group specifically. I just want to see that kind of realized before in their debut or in their training. Like how ATEEZ are still pirate boys. They debuted with the song Pirate King. Even if ATEEZ at this point try something new, if you talk to anybody who's fans or just commonly know them, they're just pirate boys. That's what I mean when I say when they debut or something, a lot of times they can get stuck in that niche and people will think of them as a hip hop or as a grunge or as a dark concepts group. What I see a lot in debuts too is a prison break or breaking things, a yellow school bus. That one will show up a lot if you actually start to take notice. School uniforms are a very specific set. It's the one where the low ceiling. I now see that set when I close my eyes. That set is pretty much the back rooms for me. You see them in any of these debut videos that I'm gonna show, take a drink. But only of juice, because we're Christian on this channel. Unless Bang Chan tells us it's okay to drink, then we will drink. Bang Chan, you're my bias. What was that? Groups like Super Junior, Twins, Knockout, Battle, Crash, Crazy in Love, Big Bang, We Belong Together, 2 PM, 10 out of 10, Shiny, Replay, Beast, Bad Girl, CA, Muscle Tough, Double A, Because I'm Crazy, 100% Bad Boy, 20K, Hurry Up, JJ Project, Bounce, XOK Mama, VIP Warrior, Nudes, Face, Top Dog Say It, BTS No More Dream, Got 7 Girls, 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 Madtown YOLO, Unique, Falling in Love, Hotshot, Take a Shot, Monster X, Trespass, N Flying, Awesome, MS Strange, Pentagon Gorilla, Black 6, IX, Please, Spectrum, Light It Up, Lucentent, You're Different, 1, The 9, Spotlight, MCND, Ice Age, and T1419, Arso Balbeta. I butchered that name. These are just some of the debuts that I watched. I couldn't fit all of them in because then it would be here forever. Now, I don't think that a group should be put in a box necessarily and pigeonholed as that one thing. I think it's okay that they try something new with a comeback. But I also would like it to be not that drastically. Like, they can do ballets and soft songs, but the change is so major from debut to comeback. It's like a totally new group with a totally different concept. You kind of want to see the red thread that goes through everything from where they started to where they are today. I also feel like as somebody who's a fan from the start, you can feel more proud of them that way because you were there from the start and you saw the progression of how they got better and how they realized what they actually were as a group and as members. Here's the whole, you have to do it this way because everybody else has debuted this way, and if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Unless you live in Reno and you eat cigarettes.
Then you're just unremarkable, and the worst thing you can do in the entertainment industry is being forgetful. And like a group in One Direction who had the whole nice boy next door, he's sweet, you can take him home to your mom. They had that concept pretty much throughout their career and throughout the whole group. Like they kind of might have been a little bit stuck in that role, but it's something where you knew who they were. And if you thought about them, you knew exactly that was what they were. We also saw it with, you know, Jonas Brothers when they were in Disney with being, you know, the sweet rock stars, kind of soft-hearted, but goofy, but still kind of edgy, which they've also said very publicly that they felt pigeonholed in that specific role, and that's why they kind of left. On the other side of the coin, we had groups like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC who were heavily inspired by New Kids on the Block. They had more of the Bad Boys vibe. If I bought a ticket to an NSYNC or Backstreet Boys concert, I knew exactly what I was walking into. I knew what I was gonna see. I knew what vibe, what I could dress up for. I kind of knew exactly what was going to happen, which in a lot of cases is why you would buy a ticket. You came to see a show about these people doing these things or these songs or this vibe instead of something totally different. We also can't really say, because when you see a debut, it's kind of hard to say if you want to stand a group, especially if they come up with a really different vibe in the next comeback, because you don't know anything about the members. You know what they look like, you know how many there are, and that's kind of it. I feel like a lot of time too with K-pop, they realize their potential way too late. There's the whole 7-year contract thing where after 7 years usually they're contracted up, and either they can choose to re-sign with the label and with the group and continue group activities, or they can kind of break up. And by that time usually you see a very clear concept, but it's too late to actually fully realize that concept, which for me hurts my heart because of the lost potential. It could have been so good if they just had a little more time to finesse it. Also, I want to talk at some point about girl groups because they have a lot of disjointed debuts. groups. There are so many bad. Like, the clothes are so awful. They're so disjointed. It doesn't look like any of them know each other or what they're doing there. They look scared most of the time, honestly. I also have a problem seeing like a 15-year-old Jungkook and Bam Bam trying to pick up girls and grab their crotch while dancing. I'm the same age as Jungkook. Like, we're born the same year. And still then, back when I watched it the first time when we were, again, both like 15, 16, I was like, this is kind of icky. You know, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, you should be more into Pokemon Go or the impending doom of the world or how to spell pterodactyl. That was what I was into at the time. I mean, they didn't have Pokemon Go, but, you know, Pokemon in general. I like the Game Boy version. I can feel the stands coming from me in the comment section. On a personal note, I think themes that are different are the most fun to look at. They're the most memorable, and what you want to do if you're a creative person is be memorable. Being mediocre is death for an artist.
I'm sorry, but the test was positive. You're a basic bitch.
If you're mediocre, then nobody's gonna pay attention to you, because if anybody else can do it, why should they support you? While watching all these, I actually find a couple of themes that I appreciate, and I can't wait for the group's next comeback. I'm actually excited to see what they're gonna bring up next, especially the team of stylists that they have on hand, because they seem like they're very creative. It's obvious the groups with different takes and a different story are the ones who are the ones smashing it right now in the fourth generation, which is what we have right now. We have groups like 80s, like mentioned before, who have a very strong pirate theme. Groups like Stray Kids, who are a project group, who are known to be different and are smashing it. Also, on a side note, I think that the debut video should have been Hellevator and not 9 District. Not memorable in the same way that Hellevator is. Hellevator is such a fun concept, and I think the visuals are a lot stronger, but that's just my opinion. Being unremarkable in this scenario where there's so many doing the same thing and doing it better than you is detrimental to the group.
You guys all think you're so much better than me.
Oh, Meg, that is the least fancy thing I have ever heard.
Most groups don't make it through even the first year. And that's usually, in my opinion, because one, there's so many doing it. They have a comeback or they have a debut that looks like everybody else's. And that also makes me really sad, because imagine going through the whole idol training, which everybody knows if you've been into K-pop is hell. Finally get to debut. You're one of those who finally get to debut. And then your debut sucks because everybody else is doing it. Imagine having to do so much to be mediocre. That's really heartbreaking. Like, the reason why it worked in the 1990s to early 2000s to even mid 2000 was because it was so new. Like, people hadn't seen it before. Now it's just like a repeating machine where it's like, we need to pump out as many as these. We won't think about the concept or the art or the music video. We just need to get as many out and hope that something sticks. Back in the day, it was like all or nothing. Companies really didn't have a lot of money, especially those who made it, like SM Entertainment and like YG, who pretty much failed over and over again. You can even say it with newer companies like Big Hit. Didn't have any money and only had one studio, and then they put all their effort into one group. Like, they wanted them to make it. The high risk, high reward was there, and now it's not. Now companies are too scared of losing money.
Hello, I like money.
So they're just going to pump out the same stuff we've seen over and over and over again and hope that one of them might land because a member is cute or funny or does a funny face. What Seo Tenshin and the boys did was controversial. Pushed against by the Korean public. Nobody wanted this. And that's why they got so famous, especially with the younger crowd. They were rebellious. Teens at the time wanted that rebellion. They wanted to act out. They wanted to be different. They wanted to not just be a machine and work and die doing the same thing over and over again, like their parents had. While researching this, I actually found 2 groups that debuted from the last 3 years that I think are kind of cool. That had some really cool debut videos, music videos. It stuck to me because it was refreshing, such as Megamax, who debuted in 2019 with Painted, love, and Donkis with Blockbuster, which is actually a super fun music video. You should totally watch it. It's not something I haven't seen before, but it was just so fun to see. And they look like they genuinely had fun shooting those music videos. At the end of the day, I actually do not have any answers for this. Who has the right answers? Really, right? I don't know what should be done differently other than maybe hire me. And I will make sure, I promise you now, I'll make sure that we will never see those terrible, ugly shirts with the names on the back, you know, the basketball shirts with the like year of the when they were born and the name on the back in like black and white or any color. You will never see those again. If you know, you know. Those are terrible. I hate them. They were cute like 20 years ago. They're not cute anymore. Please stop making them. Please stop making K-pop idols wear them because they are so bad. Thank you.
See ya!